What's going on, bro? I hope you're doing well today, man. So, today we're going to talk a bit about loneliness and how you can actually use that to your advantage and use this time and switch your mindset around from it being a negative and it being a curse to it actually being a benefit and how you can take advantage of it. So, just from my backstory, I grew up, went to basically, I think like kindergarten or something like that, and then I was homeschooled up until fifth and sixth grade. Now I was homeschooled, but there was other homeschoolers and stuff that I was hanging out with, like homeschool groups, right? All the weird like homeschooler kids. And after that point, I went to fifth and sixth grade. I think maybe yeah, no, I think it was just fifth and sixth, and I was in a private school, and that was a completely different experience for me because I had to get around a bunch of like non-homeschoolers. Because like if you don't understand homeschoolers, like we have our own little like it's like a different kind of culture, right? It's a whole different like belief system and everything. And so when I got into the private school, it was a whole different experience with me in terms of talking to guys and like girls and everything. It was really good. But after that point, I went back to being homeschooled again throughout my entire high school experience. And this time, I didn't actually have that homeschooler group to actually be a part of. And so I was very much more socially isolated. Now, luckily, I did have one friend who was also homeschooled, and we kind of kept each other company. But like even then, he'd be out traveling sometimes, and we wouldn't always be hanging out. So I knew a lot about being alone, right? And especially when it came to women, bro, dude, being homeschooled and it being like in a small area like I was, because I was in a small rural area, right? A small rural area where there was like not many young people. And so when you're a young guy like that and you don't really have the opportunity to talk to girls or anything like that, you become very socially isolated. And it really actually does affect your mental health, right? It affects the way that you feel about the world, the way you see the world. And there's just a lot that I didn't understand at the time. So I want to give you an insight as to how you can actually use this to your advantage. So when you're feeling this sense of being alone, whether it's just you live with your parents right now and you don't have many friends, you don't really talk to girls, you don't have a girlfriend or whatever, this is actually an opportunity for you to be actually grinding and going hard on your own self-development, on your own self-improvement. What a lot of us do though, and like I did in my scenario, is we cope, right? We cope by just playing video games. We cope by watching porn and TV. We cope by constantly scrolling on social media and looking at how good everyone else's lives are instead of living our own life. And so when you cope like this, you're getting the worst of both worlds. Because not only are you not out there socializing with people, having fun, going to parties, right, meeting girls, meeting friends, you're also not improving your own life. And so when you end up coming out, you've just basically completely wasted your time. Instead of improving yourself or improving your, social skills and ability to go out there and talk with people, the only thing that you've been doing is obsessing over your internet addiction, right? Video games, porn, Netflix, scrolling on social media. That's the only thing that you've done. And so what most of us do is we'll play video games and we'll play like online multiplayer games to try to get that social element because video games are super good at making you think that you're leveling up. Super good at making you think that you're actually getting somewhere in life, right? Because they have the whole goal structure, they have the reward system, they've got the status system where you level up, you get the best skin, where you get good in the game and people are like, "Oh, bro, you're so good." That simulates social interaction and simulates tribes, right? That's what it simulates. And so that's why we're so addicted to it. But I'm telling you right now, if you don't use this time of being alone to actually get yourself in gear and actually kick yourself in the ass and get moving, you're going to regret it because all of this time is basically just being wasted. You complain about, oh, I don't have any friends or anything to go do with people, or oh, I can't find a girl or a girlfriend. But the reality is, bro, you're spending so much time inside, addicted to these things, as opposed to going out there and actually trying. That it's no wonder you're not getting any success. And so this is exactly the situation that I was stuck in. Was like, I would literally be playing video games all day. I would do the required schoolwork or whatever I had to do. Then I would want to be playing video games all day. I would hop online with my friends and my so-called friends, right? But I wasn't actually getting anywhere in terms of curing that feeling, right? Because the feeling of loneliness doesn't go away when you're playing video games because that only lasts for so long. And then when you get off the video game, you go through withdrawal and all this kind of shit. So the reality of the situation is if you're alone right now, in the sense that you have no friends or barely any friends, you don't go out to parties, you don't really do anything fun with your life. Okay, your life is just fucking boring. And or you don't have a girlfriend, so you don't have any, women to be spending time with, or you don't really talk to girls at all. This is your opportunity. Okay, this is your opportune moment, is what I meant to say. This is your opportune moment to improve yourself. Because if you can improve yourself and level yourself up by going to the gym, doing the mental health habits that we talk about, right? Like journaling, meditation, reading, focusing on being grateful for the things that you do have in life, even though, of course, you're not going to want to hear that. I already know. Your brain's going to argue with me that, what are you talking about? My life sucks. The reality situation is, as you improve yourself, you then become almost like this beacon, right? Like, you know how out in the ocean, right, they have the lighthouses, right? Obviously, lighthouses on the beach to show the ships like where to come in. That basically is what you become, because you start leveling up, you start going to the gym. People are like, oh wow, dude, you're actually like getting jacked. Like, wow, that you actually starting to look really good. You improve your mental health. So instead of like walking around, see, this is what most of us walk around, right? We're like this. We got our hats on, and we walk around like this in public. We're like walking around like this. We're just like, and then you're like, bro, why doesn't no one talk to me? Or you'll be like, you got like the hoodie up, or you're just like walking around like this. Or if you don't do that, you're like, you just simply are like walking around, and your facial expression, you just have like that resting bitch face. You're just like, and then you're like, bro, like, how come my social life sucks? It's like, bro, you don't even spend any time outside your house. And when you do go outside your house, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy, because you don't you don't actually have the right mental health, and you don't have the right mindset to actually go out there and be open to people, right? And to be open to talking to people. So it's no wonder that, you never get invited anywhere. It's no wonder that you spend all your time inside, just rotting away inside your apartment or inside your mom's basement, because it's like you aren't doing anything with your life. So the reality of the situation is, nothing changes until you change. And I just want to give you this mindset, because I think it's really be helpful for my younger self if he had heard this, that right now, while you're alone, yes, it does suck. Recognize that it sucks, but don't cope by running away to the addictions, right? Don't cope by running away to the internet addictions, to alcohol, to weed, to try to cope with that. Because if you do, now you're missing out in the sense of, you are not improving yourself, and you're not actually getting anywhere in terms of meeting other people, meeting girls, and all this. So it's a lose-lose situation. And then time is just going by, right? Time is just going by. It's getting farther and farther ahead, and you're just losing time. So it's like, why not take that time right now to focus in on yourself, start going to the gym, start working on your mental health, start quitting all the bad habits that you have, and start actually spending time working on yourself, so that you can be a person that other people want to be around. Right? That's the real, like, hard pill to swallow, is like, you're probably just not someone that people really want to be around. And even if you are, you're not putting yourself out there enough to actually be noticed. Right? You're in, like, for example, like in my situation, I'm in like a small town. First of all, I barely spend any time outside of my house, because, I'm addicted to video games, and then like doing schoolwork and stuff when I'm homeschooled. And then not only that, but, the population around me is mostly like older people, but I'm not putting myself out there. And so, like, instead of actually being addicted to the internet, you could actually go out there every single day and try to, talk to people. Just work on practicing that every single day. Do you not think that you will improve if you spend time doing something every single day? It's no different than anything else. If you actually spend the time to try to get good with your social skills and actually try to improve that, do you not think you'll get better at it? It's the same thing as going to the gym. Did I just start out being like really skinny and be like, oh yeah, I really want to be jacked, but I'm just so depressed. I'm just sitting inside my house. I'm so depressed by this, and I'm not going to do anything about it. And I just expect that it's going to be fixed. No, of course not. You go to the gym, you start working out, you start improving your skill. It's the same thing when it comes to you fixing this issue with you being alone. Now, one other aspect I want to touch on is, like, you can still be alone and be around a bunch of other people, if you know what I mean. So, like, for example, you can be at parties, you can be at all these places with these people that you don't really know, and still be alone, because you're not actively participating within the group. So you might just be one of those guys who, like, stands towards the back of the party. You don't really talk to anybody. You're just kind of being on your phone like this. That you might as well just fucking be alone, bro. You might as well just go to the gym, because you're not getting the benefits of actually talking with people and actually getting out there. So this is the thing that a lot of us have to understand, is that, number one, if you feel that feeling of loneliness, try to spend that time improving yourself and look at it as almost a blessing and an opportunity for you to focus in on yourself, and there's less distractions, right? You don't have people calling you every day trying to get your attention. You don't have a girlfriend that you have to pay attention to and actually spend time managing their relationship. And I'm not saying that these things aren't good. I'm just saying, if you are stuck in that position right now where you are alone and you don't have the social opportunities, use that as a time to level yourself up, because then when you come into contact with those social opportunities, you'll be ready, and you'll be in a much better position than if you were just, sitting around doing nothing. I think the universe also, if you show like that you're like willing to just actually care somewhat about your life and actually put in the work, I think the universe presents us with the opportunities. So if you're someone who actually is putting in the work, you're going to the gym, you're doing these things, and then on top of it, you're actually actively trying to improve your social skills. You're actually trying to talk to people every day. You know what I mean? Then I think that the universe presents you with opportunities, and opportunities just come your way because you're actually trying. But a lot of us guys have this mindset these days of that, oh, it's cool just to give up, right? You have this almost narcissism of, oh yeah, it's cool just to give up and not care, bro. Like life is just so shit, bro. Like, oh yeah, self improvement, trying to better yourself, that's just cope. Let me just go keep playing video games and stuff. And it's like, yeah, okay, you can do that, but has your life changed in the past 3 years since you've had that mindset? Because I know other people who have changed their mindset, and in 3 years they're in a completely different position in life. So yeah, I mean, really, it's up to you. It's up to you to decide what you want to do. But at the very least, like I'm saying, take this moment and take this opportunity of being alone, and instead of using it as a way to latch on and cope with a bunch of addictions, use it as a way to level yourself up. Start to exercise every single day. Start to get proper sleep. Start to actually do meditation. Start to recognize what you're grateful for in life, and write that down. Despite, even though your life may be, shitty. Because these are the things, even though they sound corny, even though they sound like they're not actually going to work, I thought the same thing, bro. I literally thought the same thing. I thought, oh, dude, going to the gym is like, that's just bullshit, bro. That's just cope. I thought, oh, gratitude journaling, bro, that shit is retarded, man. Meditation, I don't do that. That doesn't work for me. But the thing is when you start doing these things consistently, what happens is your mindset changes. The way you think about yourself and your emotions change, and the way you look outwardly changes. And very specifically, it's not just about the way you physically look, like going to the gym and stuff like that, but it's also about your energy. Your energy changes massively when you start to do healthy habits and you start to get rid of your old habits, which means that other people actually like to be around you, want to be around you, which means you actually have the motivation to go out there and start talking to people, start having conversations. Walk up to that girl and talk to her, right? Instead of being so afraid because you're like, oh shit, I don't know, I might get rejected. And it's like, yeah, you might, but it's worth at least trying, right? Otherwise, what are you going to do? You're going to be in the same situation again. So this is why I'm saying it's really important that you just take this moment and realize that being alone is actually beneficial if you use it in the right way, if you take advantage of it. If you don't, then yeah, you're getting the worst of both worlds, right? And in my situation, the way that I came out of it was I started to do some of these healthy habits. I started going to the gym. Even though again, it was just like me and my friend that I was telling you about earlier, who was also homeschooled, me and him started going to the gym together. Okay, that started to change my life because it started to show me that, hey, I can actually improve in some areas. Then I started to meet people, talk to people, and then I got a job that was in a more, I guess you could say, like social environment, because like growing up, I've worked mostly in like physical labor, like blue collar jobs, right, which is mostly men. That's mostly dominated by men. But when I started to actually go to these other type of jobs, when I started to go to more like either retail or like restaurant work, these types of things, I started to interact with people on a much more social basis. And as I got to know these people, since I was also working on myself and improving, they actually saw me and they were like, hey, this guy's cool. We like this guy, and so they started to invite me, and then I started to go out and party and actually have a good time and start to meet people and meet girls and things like that. And then my life started to change. So you have to understand that this is really a key thing, is to understand, to keep that mindset that like being alone, it's not a curse. Okay, it's not a curse. It's not some thing because you're like subhuman or whatever. Like black pillars might tell you, oh yeah, dude, I'm so alone, bro, because like nobody likes me and I just look so ugly and all this kind of shit. It's like, bro, that right there is cope, because you could literally change your life by doing some of the basic things I talked about and actually getting out there and start interacting with people, and you will find people who are interested in you and that you are interested in. So yeah, it's just a mindset shift. I think that we should maintain and keep that, use that time of being alone as a time for you to rise and grind and to really improve yourself in all areas. And as you start to do that, I think you will start to see that your perspective on the world will start to change, and you will be more likely to go after things, and you will also be more likely to be offered opportunities because of the fact that you have actively taken steps to change your life. So that's the message for today, boys. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.